Hey y'all. Hope my microphone is working as high. I don't know what I see. Okay, here we go. We're snapped in. We're snapped in, y'all. Make sure to subscribe, like, share the video, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss an episode. This is the Solomon Project, y'all. And I'm your host, Richard Burns. Welcome back. Rudy, how are you? Bonjour. In the description below, you're going to find some excellent content creators, and you're also going to find 4 links to 4 different brokerages. You got Robinhood, you've got Moomoo, you've got, oh my God, I always forget this one. I always forget it. You have Webull. That's not the one I forgot. The one I forgot is another one. Acorns. I always forget Acorns. I don't know what it is with me and Acorns, but hey, elevated! We got big shots coming in right now. That's what's up. Gotta flip my phone this way because otherwise it's gonna be hard for me to see the peoples when they come in. You feel me? With 2 hands? All right. Let me go ahead and get a different setup going. Just to make sure. Yeah, I got Webull. Elevated. I've worked with Webull, Moomoo, Schwab, Tasty Trade, E-Trade, Thinkorswim. I've worked with just about I guess my mic is working. Yeah, I've worked with so many different platforms, and one that I don't use but I see the benefit of is Acorns. I see the benefit of Acorns because there are plenty of people who don't have a clue as to how to enter into the stock market and reap the benefits of the stock market. Some of these platforms can be very intimidating. I think when people first, let me think about it for a second. E-Trade, when it comes to options, E-Trade can be intimidating. E-Trade, you have to make sure, well, let me think about that because Schwab is pretty much like that as well. Fidelity, I never worked with Fidelity. I know people who do. I don't work with Fidelity. And there are a couple of others that I don't work with because it's too limiting for me. But like Acorns is incredibly limited for me. But that doesn't mean that it can't serve other people who would enter something like Thinkorswim or, by the way, who owns Thinkorswim now? I think Schwab owns Thinkorswim now. And I was using Thinkorswim in its early years, in its early inception. And then it got bought out by TD Ameritrade. So before it was owned by TD Ameritrade, I was working with Thinkorswim when it was his own thing. And some of these platforms, if it's your first time being exposed to the stock market, exposed to trading, um, yeah. So you understand what I mean, elevated. Yeah. Fidelity can be intimidating. It can be intimidating. A lot of these platforms can be intimidating for first time exposure to the stock market. And it's difficult enough because people are already scared of the stock market. Understandably so, because of the type of news that people get to hear about the losses, about when the stock market takes a hit, goes down, and you hear about people losing their retirement money. And of course, yeah, that would generate fear. And then to come onto a platform that has so many different things that you could pick from, how to buy, how to sell, how much to buy, how much to sell, what's the bid price, what's the ask price, what's the purpose of having that, um, understanding volatility, understanding how volatility um, impacts the price of a stock, ABD, understanding uh, how liquidity can impact the spreads between the bid and the ask. Um, you see that you can trade before the start of the market, which is 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it could be 8 o'clock, and you can see that you can trade or purchase, sell. However, once you gain experience, you start to realize that, yeah, come on in. Come on in, elevated.
What's going on, man?
What's good, baby boy?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of sucks that you're not getting a whole lot of support from everybody. I don't like that, man. But I get
You
it.
kind of broke up. Repeat that.
I say I don't like how nobody's really supporting you like how you support everybody else. That sucks.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. Believe me, I do.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Is it your signal or is it mine? It's kind of. Let me see something. Let me see if I
um,
can improve my signal. How am I coming through? Am I coming through all right?
yeah. I hear you loud and clear. BDB, what's good, bro? Slight technical difficulties. Check, check, check. Okay.
How about now?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was trying to switch it up between my Wi-Fi and just using the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what we got here? Okay, no, that's already done. Yeah. So thank you. And thank you for acknowledging that too, Elevator. Yeah, I do. Um, I enjoy giving support to all my peoples. Um, although I don't have this.
Damn. Okay. So I guess we're gonna keep this show rolling. Shout out to Rich. Trying to school everybody on making some passive income. You back?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to go ahead and give you your flowers, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's a pause, but a lot of times, we don't acknowledge those that are actually trying to help us to succeed. And then of course we talking about stocks, so I have to jump into the chat.
Yeah. I
All
don't
these
know.
bro Go ahead.
I got you breaking up a lot. I don't know why.
All right, let me I'll exit, I'll come back.
Yeah, I think it's me, man. I think it's my signal. My signal is going crazy. Okay, are we back?
I
Are
hope
we
so.
back?
I hope.
So I think it's me because I'm up in the mountains. I'm up in New Mexico. But
Okay.
something about passive income.
Yeah. I mean, you trying to show everybody the way to make, some passive income. I feel like a lot of people are not open to actually trying to leave the 9 to 5.
They're not.
And I think that information like this needs to be at least discussed or talked about more openly. But again, everybody is not on the same mental
They're not.
space. So I mean, I don't know.
They're not. And I'll tell you, I learned my lesson when I was a broker because during orientation they made it very clear if you choose to become a broker, you're
Mhm.
basically a salesman,
Right.
and you reach out. Now, while I was studying to get my license, I had to do cold calling and try to get customers into our firm, right?
Right.
And the most difficult thing about it was the amount of rejection that you get, right?
Yeah.
You know, I wanted the license. I wanted to
Mhm.
be inside,
Right.
and I was willing to go through that rejection. Now the rejection rate is 98%. Okay,
Sheesh.
yeah, that's why when I talk about the two percenters, I'm talking about the people who um who can push through something like a 98% rejection rate. Okay,
Okay.
I'm talking
Okay.
about a certain frame of mind. I'm not talking about a financial status when I talk about being a two percenter or trying to reach out to two percenters. I'm talking about people who are willing to go beyond their fear and go down a path where others have gone and have succeeded. But
Right.
in order for you to succeed, you got to push through the obstacles. what you're going to get.
Right.
And when it comes to investing, it's scary. It's scary for a lot of people. And honestly, most people would rather be distracted with the shiny objects that our world provides everybody with.
Right.
Lots of shiny objects, lots of distraction,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of ways that people um, can find the means by which they can keep pushing things aside
Right.
and not addressing their financial future.
Right.
Um, it's so easy to get distracted. And when you're starting out, if you're from where we're from, right? Because I'm assuming that you weren't born wealthy either, right?
Right. Right.
Um, in order for us to get to a place where our money can be used as the type of tool that it needs to be, so
Mm-hmm.
that we can move on with less friction because of emergencies that pop up,
Right.
right?
Right.
So we have to make sacrifices. Now, in the beginning, the sacrifice might be large in the beginning,
Right.
but that sacrifice winds up diminishing as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
And taking that first step is the toughest step of all. Like I was
Yeah.
mentioning before, you know, there's a lot of scary things that goes on with people's money and the world of finance and the world of investments. You see it on
Mm-hmm.
the news all the time. Oh, such and such company went bankrupt, everybody lost their money. Or
Mm-hmm.
the economy's in terrible shape, the stock market took a plummet, people
Mm-hmm.
lost their retirement money, like Enron, when people lost their retirement money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's a scary thing. I mean, if you're taking a sacrifice, a big sacrifice, and that sacrifice entails putting your hard-earned money into a vehicle that could potentially go away and put you back on zero, right?
Right.
However, it's it's um it's a it how can I say it? It is a risk, but it's not the type of risk that people create after seeing all this news and all this stuff. It's not that you can regulate the type of risk that you want to take.
Exactly.
Yeah. How was it for you? How did you get started?
So I want to say around maybe 2017, 2018, something like that. Somehow, some way I started seeing the videos on YouTube. Like I wasn't actually looking for investing and things like that. It just something came across my screen one day. So I was like, okay, let me watch this. I started getting interested in it. And at that time I was working an overnight shift in a factory. And I would have my earbuds in and I would just start playing. I was just taking in the information. So I said, okay. So that's when I opened my first brokerage account, Robinhood, of course. And I just whatever little bit of pennies I had, I would just start throwing it into my account and learning how everything worked. Um, this is the things that we were not taught, at least
Right,
as children.
right,
The wealthy people, the people with the mind on correctly, they teach their children this. I had to just stumbled across it and I said, "Oh, okay." I took a liking to it. So 2021, I was traveling. I was actually in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio. I was on a travel contract, and that's when one of my close friends actually introduced me into the options game.
Hi,
So,
Lisa.
what's up, Lisa? So with me actually, I was making per diem and stuff every week. So I was like, okay, I got a little bit of extra coins. I could learn how this options game works. And so that's when I started learning the options game. But again, it was introduced to me by somebody that I know, and I could have said, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to risk my money. I'm not doing that. I don't want to learn any of this stuff." But like, it's like, why not? This what the wealthy people do. I want some money because I like to think of
Yeah,
things. I like to think of it as, even let's say that I take a trade with maybe like $100. I probably would have wasted that anyway, trying to have fun or something like that. Why not take this X amount of dollars and try to
why
make
not?
a little bit
This is
more
what
off
the
of it?
wealthy people do. I want some money. Yeah,
Because I like to think
yeah.
of things. I like to think of it as, even let's say,
No, listen, you're absolutely right. Elevated, and I'm fascinated about stories like your own.
right, right. Ooh, the mountains is playing games, Rich. Yeah, Lisa, we've been having technical difficulties. He was good until I jumped onto the stage. He back now?
Yeah, I'm back. Hey, Lisa, how is the feedback gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like I
gone.
said, I apologize to everybody. I'm up in the mountains in New Mexico, and as a result, I'm having complications with my signal. But going back to, uh,
Yeah, we can't be great. Come on, YouTube. Why can't we be great, YouTube? I like to think of this as they don't want the message to get out.
oh, you know what? Um, I never felt that way.
Yeah,
What I do feel is that this is the type of information that you exchange with people that uh, that you feel a strong bond with.
right,
That you
right.
feel a strong bond with. This is not. And for example, if I were to learn something from you,
Mm-hmm.
um, before I pass it on to anybody else,
Yeah,
I would have to check with you to see if it's okay, because
absolutely, absolutely.
because if you provided me that information in confidence, then I would be disrespecting our relationship if I were to just pass it on.
Right.
That's how I perceive it. That's how I perceive it. Um, I was friends with people that couldn't be friends with a lot of other people that I was friends with. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, whatever exchange I had in private uh, should remain amongst us. Hey, Double D, happy Monday. Yeah.
Okay, I
Um,
get that.
so for example, um, you go, if you and I are together, we're sitting at a bar having beers or whatever the case is, eating lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a moment where you break down more specifically the type of things that you've spoken about in on your videos, more specifically. details that you didn't feel like sharing in public.
Right.
Now, in order to respect my relationship with you, I'm not going to come on my platform and say, yeah, we'll elevate it. This is why it's going down. This is why it went down when he said this, that, and the third. No.
Mm.
And I think it's the same when it comes to finances. Okay.
Right.
I've learned things. I've learned things about business from the father of an ex-girlfriend who took me along to his business and things. And
Okay. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Slight technical difficulties.
we got slight with the
Yeah, it's all right though.
All right. How about now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Am I good now?
Yep.
It's
Loud
gonna
and
be a
clear.
little hang on. Yeah, it's all right though.
Feedback.
Am I back?
Yep.
All right. How about now?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. I can hear I heard myself. So yeah, so my ex-girlfriend's father took me to his business and broke down certain things, and I had questions for him because I didn't understand why some businesses were wasteful with their materials, and why that wasn't a loss for them. And he broke it down. And this is the type of thing that he broke down to me because I had a relationship with his daughter. And as a result, I took in what I learned from this man, and I wasn't just going to go around spreading it to my whole neighborhood. And in all reality, if I keep to that 2% and 98% of the people that I spoke to about, if I spoken to them about it, 98% of them would allow it to go in one ear and out the other. And this is why I like YouTube, because yeah, when you get when you're accustomed to working, hey Yolanda, when you come when you have people that are just going to disregard what you say, knowing, and I don't know if you feel this way sometimes, but you know that you're trying to encourage people to take a path that will help them,
Right.
and they just ignore you. You know where they are financially. You know they could do better. You provide them with information that can help them. You bump into them again, and it's like, oh, what did you say? Okay, so that could be disheartening.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Granted, my situation improved because I had to be in that environment where I had 98% rejection rate. So I had to toughen up. And but like here in YouTube, the fantastic thing about YouTube is that you could provide. In my case, I like to work on mindset. I don't provide too many specifics about how to trade, what to trade. I did one time provide 5 stocks that I called the helping hand that I did provide. Of course, my portfolio is much larger than that, and I have different portfolios and different platforms. But the thing is that I provided 5 that, in my opinion, should be part of everybody's portfolio.
Mhm. Y'all bear with us, please.
But here, but here on YouTube, nobody has to tell me if they're listening to my advice or not. They don't have to tell me anything.
Right.
I come on, I express what I think people should be paying attention to. Um, I express the type of mindset that people should develop. I try to encourage people to get involved in the stock market. And if they don't, I don't know whether they do or not.
Mhm.
And I feel like I'm doing my part to try to improve somebody's life financially without having to hover over them, without having to chase them, ask them, hey, did you? That's another
Right.
thing I learned.
Right.
You got your own development
Mhm.
to focus on. Every time you stop, and anyone who has wealth understands that the most precious commodity that they have is time. Time is your most precious commodity.
Yep.
So if you're hovering around people, chasing after people, that's time that you're taking away from your own development. Okay?
Mhm.
You already stopped what you were doing for yourself to point the way for others, to explain certain things for others, maybe to develop relationships with certain people where you got more in depth as to what to do, how to do, when to do. And that's time from your self-development, from your learning. You went to Columbus, Ohio, you said?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's where you got exposed to options.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So that was your time that you spent learning something, a tool, something that would take you beyond, and that was your time.
Right.
Now you were taking time out of your own development to explain, and Lisa J does this also,
Mhm.
to explain certain things.
Right.
That's you giving back. That's you giving back. However, if you have the type of personality where you don't just give back, you follow people to see, hey, did you listen to what I said? Are you doing what I told you to do?
Mhm.
Uh, the person is either about it or they're not. And if
Period.
they're
Yep.
not, and you're chasing them, if they're not and you're chasing them, then you're taking time away from your own development. But here on YouTube, you either do it or you don't. You either listen or you don't.
Right.
That's on each individual. I'm giving back. I'm trying to expose people to, like what you said, what the wealthy do. I try to expose that. But I don't have to chase. That's the beauty of YouTube. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Elevator. Keep telling me about your experience.
Yeah. I mean, just to touch on what you were just saying, again, that you putting the information out, that's more than enough because you're doing your part. You're sharing the knowledge that you know. Anybody that actually is interested in what you are offering, they know how to reach out to you. They know how to,
I'm
if
sorry.
they need to ask you a
Go ahead,
question
Elevator.
about
Keep telling me
something,
about your experience.
they know how to reach out or at
I
least
mean,
leave it in the
just talk
comments.
about
Hey,
what you
well,
were
could you
saying.
break down this or this or this? But Another technical difficulty. So where were we at with the story? 2021. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I get exposed to options. And and of course, in the very beginning, the person that introduced it to me didn't really know a whole lot about it. So he was still learning. And I would be on the charts every chance I got. You know, when our per diem hit, oh yeah, I'm gonna throw some of this money into these options. I'm gonna learn things like that. Fast forward to this day, the person that taught me looks up to me and asks me questions because I've taken such a strong liking to learning options that he asked me my opinions on certain plays and things like that. I hear feedback.
So sorry about that. So it became, so see that person, but that person didn't waste their time with you. That person didn't waste their time with you when they stopped to engage with you because they saw
Right,
that you had a genuine interest and that you were putting it into effect.
right,
So, and not only that, that was a moment that they used to build with you.
right,
And so you guys were like ping-ponging off each other and enhancing one another, which
right.
is different than engaging in somebody. You
All I know is that wherever Rich is in New Mexico, I do not want to go there.
all right, what did I miss?
All I said, wherever you are in New Mexico, I do not want to go there. You having
You're
a
a
whole
great
lot of
co-host,
trouble.
by the way.
Nah, it's all right, man. I get it. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Man, oh, this is
I,
everything.
I get it. I get it. It's all right. It's all right. We here.
I'm gonna try to move to a different location. Hopefully, it'll work and we can keep it running. But let's see what happens. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna move to a different location, hopefully. And I think that out here they got like signal interrupters
Hmm.
because I'm at a truck stop right now, and I think that they have signal interrupters to force you to pay for their Wi-Fi service,
I believe it.
and that's what I think is going on. But there's another truck stop close by where I already have Wi-Fi service from them, and hopefully it'll work out. Man, this dude is not doing good right here. But how do you feel? How do you feel now that you took that step? I mean, that step must have been. I'm going to use the term scary.
Hmm.
I think it's natural. I think fear is natural,
Right.
and especially when it comes to your money, um, it must have been scary when you first took that plunge into the world of options.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
because the world of options in the beginning is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, especially not being a part of any type of groups or anything like that. I like to think of it like the blind leading the blind. It was just like, oh well, you ever traded options? Nah, what's that? How does that work? And then this
What that
person,
is?
right? And then it's like, okay, so like, I have to start doing some research. I have to learn this game. So,
Oh,
oh
we
man,
gotta behave. We gotta behave.
hold on.
Well, I gotta
Listen,
behave.
Let
don't let
me
me up on the panel if
Hey,
I'm
Lisa.
scary now.
hold on. Let me. Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I wasn't here from the start of the show, so I'm not exactly sure what the topic is, but I saw that Mr. Burns keeps cutting out, so I figure I would pop up. Maybe I could help out when he's. Uh,
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Yes.
but I'm on my iPad. I might have to mute. Someone is here doing some work at my house.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna listen in.
They
Ask me
can
anything if you
hop
think
in
I.
too.
Hmm?
They can hop in too if they want.
Oh no, I don't know if he talks about this stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because
But
I'm a
yeah,
weirdo when I
Lisa.
know it.
Lisa, how did you get started in stocks?
And
Good
in
question.
what way? I mean, I work, so I have a 401k. So I call that the start. I would say what really led me to get hands on is getting laid off and then having those 401ks and realizing that I was in underperforming investments. I had things at different brokerage companies because of the layoffs and
Mm,
wanting to get them combined and maximized and realizing that because of the layoffs again that in those times when I was looking for my next opportunity, these are times that I felt like I'm losing out. I'm not contributing as much. I might have to go on to a next position that doesn't pay as much. And so I really didn't want to be reliant on corporate America and said, real estate, investing, these things are what I need to be focused on so that when corporate America fails me, I'm ready to take care of myself.
mhm. Wow. I love the stories. I
Where
love
did you
stories.
get the idea? Where did you get the idea that this was the route? That the stock market was the route to go to resolve that issue
Well,
that you spoke of?
I think for most people, the largest sum of money that you start to accumulate is that 401k, and having an understanding and seeing your older family members what retirement could look like if you don't have assets to rely on. My
The idea that this
grandmother.
was the route,
I'm sorry, I
stock
was hearing
market was
some
the route to
feedback there.
go. Sorry, sorry. Go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like my grandmother, she was a widow. She, came to America, didn't have much and didn't know how to do these type of things. And then that showed me what later in life when you're unable to work, what life could look like. So many different things, but that's just a part of it. But you know, I've been positively influenced by some names that you may know: Keenan Grace, Larry Jones. Um, and so I saw this as a way to make a better life for myself. Find, develop real financial security for yourself. So no matter what comes up, I'll be able to handle it.
Nice. So you took that step. Was it scary?
No, I don't want anyone to think investing is scary. Everyone has to do it. It's a necessity. That's you don't have to do it in a complicated way. You guys are talking about options trading. You don't have to do that. You can invest into the S&P. You can invest into the total stock market. You just have to be consistent with it, take it serious, know what you're invested into, understand the expenses. If you're in a 401k, don't just go with what you're defaulted into. You have to put a little effort into it, but it's not hard. And we all have to do it because this is the way of the world. There is no more pension unless you're a firefighter or something that you're going to be set. You have to prioritize this. It's not there's no way, in my opinion, there's no way around it. You have to do this.
Mm. 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 So what I'm hearing from you is that so what I'm hearing
Elevated. What was that? He needed to take a break to swallow his drink?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Elevated. You're supposed to talk to bridge these gaps.
Hey. Okay. So what I'm hearing from you, Lisa, is that no excuses. It's got to get done.
It has to get done. You have to take it serious. It's not hard. It is not hard.
It really isn't. However, for some reason, people are terribly intimidated. You know, I ask around because, by nature, because of I was in sales, so I ask questions when I come across people who they have their retirement accounts, but they're inactive, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They don't take charge of their retirement account. They basically just do whatever HR recommended that they do.
Yeah, so they're defaulted into the underperforming target date fund.
Ouch! Underperforming.
You need to do something about that.
You're so right. And that was one of the things that I encourage.
Today, people in the chat, whoever may see this, you need to do something about this today. Pick up the phone. Figure it out. Get on your app. You go on that app to watch YouTube and all these other things. Get on your investment app.
Yep.
Tell me, what is the expense ratio? What are the fees? What is the performance? The market has been on fire for the last, 3 weeks now. Is your portfolio in line with what the market is doing? If not, you need to make a change.
Not if they got a 401k and they're depositing the bare minimum.
My company that I'm working at. Okay, the 401k. I was originally, when I signed up for the 401k, I was defaulted into the target date fund that corresponded with my age.
Retirement day. Yep.
You don't have to be in the fund that corresponds to your age. You can put yourself out 10, 15, 20 years further to be in a more aggressive fund. Something else you can do is take a look at all of the available investment options. I was able to switch my entire contribution to FXAIX, which is the S&P 500. You don't have to be in that target date fund that corresponds with your age.
Good to know.
You need to do your research. You need to ask questions. If you don't know what questions to ask, I've told you, you can come and ask again. I will find you the live stream. I will direct you to it if anybody ever is interested. Sorry guys, I gotta mute for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are we taking turns muting?
Hey,
all right, I'll be right back. Don't leave, guys. You got me? All right.
Yep.
Make sure you get all my teeth in there. Awesome.
This guy.
Thanks, man.
This guy.
Yeah. They keep asking me. Well, my kid, my oldest, I don't know, one of them. They keep asking me when I'm going to fix my teeth. Ha ha! Fix my teeth? What are you talking about?
Right.
What the heck? So
Right.
what was the last thing that Lisa said about
The target date funds with your 401k. She was
yeah, man.
she was saying that you could push it out 20 years past whatever year you're supposed to retire, so you could have more aggression, as far as the investments.
There are well, yeah. Well, for the 401, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on with the 401. Some details that I don't really share on YouTube or anything like that.
Right.
I don't provide. Ever since I let my license go, once I started generating money for myself, a substantial amount of money for myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I decided to exit the industry and not renew my license, which is kind of crazy because it was no joke getting that license. That was tough, and not the type of thing that I would want to try to do again. I'll put it to you that way.
Right.
So, but I took some courses. I advanced in my knowledge of the financial world,
Mm-hmm.
and I started doing it for myself and for my family. And as a result, there are things out there that people can learn that can help them, like things specific to retirement accounts, like the 401k,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, especially taxation with the 401k. The what the companies do to match, they say they match your contribution.
Mm-hmm.
However, the math doesn't work out the way people think it works out.
Right.
So, and the math doesn't work out the way they think it works out when it comes to withdrawing from your 401k. For example, this is from when I had my license. What was going on with the 401k? I'm pretty sure that there have been changes in the rules and the laws regarding retirement accounts. Although fundamentally, 401k, by the way, you can max out your 401k without lowering the amount that you take home from your pay, or without lowering it very much.
Mm-hmm.
The way to go about doing that is to visit your accountant, and let your accountant know that you want to make sure that you can maximize, you can max out your contribution, and that you want to be able to max it out and not have to pay taxes at the end of the year, or not have to receive money back at the end of the year. That's crucial.
Yeah.
Let me explain what happens there. Most people on their W-4s, when they go to a job, they put zero dependents, right? When they do their taxes at the end of the year, they get very excited. Oh, look at this. I'm getting a check from the government. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting your money back from the government. That's what you're getting. Okay. By the way, this is not financial advice.
It's
You're
not.
getting your money back. Okay? What you've done by putting no dependence on your W-4.
You gave them a free loan.
Yes, you did. That's exactly right. You gave them a free loan. Now, if you can get a free loan from somewhere, then by all means. But I doubt very much that you can get a free loan anywhere.
Right.
But that's exactly what you did. So if you're getting back $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, that's $5,000 or $6,000 that you could have allocated into your retirement account
Mm-hmm.
and let that generate income for you,
Yep.
as opposed to putting that 5, 6, 7,000 on hold so that somebody else can invest it, get the returns. They keep the returns and give you your money back. But that's something that people, that's one of those things that go in one ear and out the other.
Not with me.
Right. So see, Lisa's on point. No, Lisa, you are extremely aggressive with this whole investing thing. Yeah, you are. You are. And by the way, your content is so well organized. I got to give you praise, like super praise. Yeah, but you are definitely aggressive with this thing. It's like, no, is it like you got to brush your teeth? Yeah, you got to invest. Okay.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, no ands, ifs, or
Elevated
buts
doesn't
about
listen
it.
to me. I haven't heard any updates about the Roth IRA.
Because I forgot
The
about
Roth
it.
IRA, what do you mean?
I forgot about it. I did.
I want Elevated.
Oh, you open up a Roth? Elevator, you open up a Roth?
Man, I think I got a couple of them somewhere. I got to check my apps.
Oh, there you go. That's
Wait
what's
a
up.
minute now. Elevated, do you have underperforming target date funds lingering out there?
Elevated, admit to your sins, please.
Yes, Lisa.
You got that.
Yeah.
Elevated. Come
Lisa,
on
no,
over
please, Lisa.
to
No, put the
Fidelity
belt back. Put the belt
and
back.
let's get it
Well, I
together.
know, right?
Don't whoop them. Lisa's ready to whoop something.
I know. I feel like I'm disrespecting Lisa right now. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
man.
I'm sorry.
Don't be underperforming. Don't be underperforming, man. She ain't going for that.
I know.
Especially when she lets the whole world know that you can get a much better return. Even with some ETFs, you can get a much better return.
Mhm.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
So the Roth, right? I don't know if people are aware of this. Roth as opposed to 401. So Roth is a retirement account. It is not a qualified retirement account like the 401. 401, you got till 59 and a half so you can withdraw. When you do withdraw, you have to pay taxes on everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Your contribution, your profits,
Yep.
even what the company put in for you, right? So how does that look? How does that look when it's time to retire? Oh, let's say you don't need to withdraw from your 401.
Mhm.
Well, when you get to 70 and a half, you pay 50% taxes on your returns, on your profits.
Wow.
If you leave it in your 401 beyond 70 and a half. Not the case with the Roth. With the Roth, if I remember correctly, you can withdraw what you contributed without a penalty. What you contributed. So your principal. You can
Okay.
withdraw without a penalty. Not the 401. 401, you withdraw prior to 59 and a half. You got to pay a 10% penalty and the taxes on what you're withdrawing. Right. Roth IRA, if you leave it in there past 70 and a half, no taxation. So that's a beautiful thing. So that's now you can't deposit the same amount. There's a cap as to how much you can deposit into a Roth.
Right.
Last I saw was like something close to $6,000. I don't remember.
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, it's higher than that now. I think it might be.
It's higher than that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I think maybe 8,000 under.
Oh, really?
50, 85 over 50.
Oh,
okay. So the catch up. That's the catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So with the catch up, without the catch up is something like what?
8,000 maybe.
Really? Without the catch up? Okay. So that's a beautiful thing. And to be honest, the vast majority of the people that we know probably won't be able to deposit 8,000 a year consistently. So it's still good. It's still a good option, Roth IRA. But I must say, and I'm on Lisa's side with it. I go a little beyond, but I'm on Lisa's side with being self-directed. So that you don't pick things that underperform. Okay. For those who don't know, when a broker pays you a visit to open up your 401, or I think any other account, I don't remember, but definitely with your retirement accounts, they give you a 7 to 10 question questionnaire that's designed to figure out what your risk tolerance is. Hey, Lucy. Thank you. It's designed to understand what your risk tolerance is. So you can fall anywhere from 0 tolerance to very high tolerance. The lower the tolerance, the less riskier assets that they're going to allocate your money toward. Could be all bonds, for example, all U.S. bonds, or it could be a portfolio where they have a mix of some bonds, some ETFs, maybe some single stocks, or it could be really risky where they got you in all stocks and including international stocks. So there you go. So it can vary depending on. Now, here's the thing, though. If you're like medium risk tolerance, they're gonna like what Lisa was talking about. When you allow the professionals from the firm to allocate your money, they're going to put it into a fund that's composed of stocks and other assets that will fit that medium risk profile. And they're going to be assets that are removed and some included in order to fulfill that. And it's honestly it's like not even a middle. It's like the minimum threshold for you to get a return from.
Right.
Which and if you get involved in that, Lisa's going to pull out the belt. Lisa's pulling out the belt because you're probably not getting the type of returns that you should be getting. You will be what she calls underperforming. So don't go there. Don't do it. Don't do it. Elevated. Don't do it.
Yeah, I won't. I won't.
So my son, since he opened up his account, has been getting a 17% return. I think his account is like 2 years old.
It's not bad.
Yeah, 17% return. And now I've got him doing options.
Mm-hmm.
And out of 9 trades,
Mm-hmm.
he lost on one, but the loss was so small that 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 his winners outperformed that one loss by so much. It's like damn near insignificant, the loss.
Right.
And thankfully, I think that's because he's still listening to me. He hasn't he hasn't gotten aggressive, and he hasn't gotten to where he's saying, no, just let me do this.
Right.
So I'm still there by his side. Do you do any selling, Elevated, with your options,
No.
or are you strictly buying?
Strictly buy.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not at that level yet. You know, I've tried the selling part, you know, on some cheap equities and stuff, but
Right.
eh.
If you ever want to experiment,
Mhm.
and you could always reach out to me, man.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
ever want to experiment with that.
most definitely. And you know, I was saying this to my homeboy also. I was like, we need to start selling. That's where the money's at.
The money's in selling, and the probability of earning is in selling.
Yep.
Buying, I've seen I've been watching some of my friends do some buying, and it's been tough.
Mhm.
It's been tough because I see what their break-even prices are.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. That stock really has to perform, and it has to perform quickly.
Right.
It has to perform quickly because I don't know what you were taught with regards to buying, but theta is definitely your enemy, right?
Data, yeah. Data's time decay, people.
Time decay is not your friend when you buy.
Mhm.
When you're a buyer in options, it's the thing everybody's hardwired to do in business, right? You buy low and you sell high.
Yep.
Everybody's hardwired to do that for business, right? If I buy this case for $1, in order for me to make a profit, I got to sell it for more than $1.
Right.
So it's the same when you buy in options. When you buy in options, you're going to buy a contract, and you're not buying the stock. Okay, you're buying a contract that's impacted by the price of the stock. So when the stock moves up and down, so does your contract. If you buy a contract, 100 shares per contract, when you buy a contract, you want that stock price to go up. And the amount that you want it to go up, well, you're going to want to check your break-even price. Your break-even price will let you know how far up you need that stock price or the contracts to go up. If they don't surpass the break-even, you're not going to make a profit. And I've seen some break-even prices that were ridiculously high. Now, the world of options has a lot of moving parts. A lot of moving parts. And it could take some time. Anybody who wants to experiment with options, I really want them to be patient because it takes time to be able to fit all the pieces together.
Yep.
See, in options, you can make money if the stock price goes up. If you're a short seller, you make your money when the stock price goes down, which that alone kind of messes with people's heads.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Because let me explain the short selling world. When you open up an account with a brokerage, with the exception of Acorns, because Acorns don't get down like that. But Robinhood, Webull, Moomoo, E-Trade, whatever, you're going to want to request that you be allowed to use margin. Margin is another word for a loan. However, this load can come in the form of money, right? So you could borrow money to buy more shares, or you could borrow shares to do what? To do a short sell. And this is what drives people crazy when they first get exposed to short selling. So you've got your brokerage. There's a particular company that you've been paying attention to maybe for a year or more or less, whatever the case is, but you think you've got them figured out, or at least how the price moves throughout the year. You think you've got that figured out, right? Maybe it's one of those companies that are seasonal. Certain times of the year, their stock price always goes up around that time. Maybe it's the third quarter. Maybe it's the first quarter, whatever. But you got it figured out. Here comes that quarter that you know the price always goes down. All right. You open up your account. You don't own any of those shares. You don't own any of those shares, but you know that this is the quarter that the price always goes down without fail. So what do? You hit the sell button, and guess what? Magically, you are selling shares of that company. But wait a minute, but you don't own the shares. What the hell's going on? Margin. You're being loaned the shares, not cash, the shares. So the stock is at $100 when you sell it. Then the price goes down. You think it's going to go down to $85 a share because that's just how big of a drop it happens in this particular quarter. You always see it happening. All right. You hit the sell button. You put in the ticker symbol and you hit sell. And you put in the number of shares that you want to sell. Well, the brokerage just loaned you the shares for you to sell. It dropped from 100 to 90, and that's where you said, well, you know what? I'm going to buy it back. Yeah, because I think it'll go down to 85, but I don't want to get greedy. So when it hits 90, you buy it back. And what does the brokerage do? What do they tell you? Give us the money? No, they didn't lend you money. They loaned you shares. So immediately when you buy the shares back, the ones that you sold, the brokerage takes it immediately because that's all they want, because that's all they loaned you. However, you decided to sell 100 shares of this stock that you don't own. It went down to 90 and you bought it. You bought it back. That's so backwards in people's minds because, wait a minute, The first alert that people get is the fact that the price is going down. That's the first scare that they get. Oh my God, I'm losing money. No, you're making money. You're hardwired. You're hardwired to believe that the order of operations when it comes to business is that you buy low and you sell it high. You forgot that the first order was a sale and not a buy. So you're freaking out because this is the first time you ever did it. The price goes down to 90 and you're sweating. Oh my God, I'm losing $10 a share. In your mind, you thought you bought 100 shares. You did everything backwards. You sold first. Wait a minute. I'm hardwired. Right. So now you got to break out of that hard wiring. Went down to 90, you bought it back, and you look at your account, and you got an extra $1,000. And now you're scratching your head, wondering what the hell just happened. You got your brain disrupted by a process that you're not used to doing, which is short selling. Now, that's short selling. So now you got your regular buy, wait for the price to go up and sell it, make a profit. But now you got this crazy selling of something that you don't own just for the price to go down, buy it back and you make a profit. Yeah, that's kind of confusing. Now, when you enter the world of options, here comes the crazy part. Both those things you can do in options. You could buy first, sell it later at a higher price and make a profit. Or, this is where it goes crazy. You can buy first, the price goes down, sell it later and make a profit. Huh? Yeah. It all depends on which side of the options chain you're on. Right? You can also sell first, the price goes down, and then you buy the close and you make a profit. Or you can sell first, buy it back, the price goes up, and you make a profit. Huh? Yeah. 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 You can sell a single leg, double leg, triple leg, quadruple legs in order to make a profit. Here's the other bugged out part about options. The price doesn't have to move at all and you can still make a profit. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Look here. This is $5. This case is $5. Do an option strategy on this $5 case. Come back 30 days later. Hey, how much is that case now? It's still $5. And then you look at your portfolio and you made a profit. But how's that possible? Because we're hardwired, right? You got to buy this at 1, sell it for 5, you make a $4 profit. That's what your brain, but in options, none of that matters.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
I've been back and forth, but I just wanted to share. I have a margin account because I needed it to have, whatever flexibility I wanted as far as option trading, but I don't use it. I only use my cash.
You can use it. You can choose it for short selling too, although short selling is extremely risky.
Yeah, personal preference. I only trade with my available cash balance. I have the margin account because I wanted to have the highest level of option trading available to me. Mm-hmm. And I had to have it in order to do that.
Okay.
but I never intend on ever using any margin.
And that's understandable. And honestly, you don't have to go into the world of options. Um, buy and hold, buy and hold has made more investors wealthy than any other strategy available out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I barely talk about it on my channel because that has not seemed to be, I don't teach it. It's not any, I do it every week, but I don't necessarily share about it very often
Mm-hmm.
because I'm usually, I've said this, I follow my mentors. I have access to several people that chart or live trade, and I can partner with them to do it. So I'm in one trade right now, and um, I'm straight. I'm straight with that access. I don't necessarily have to seek out trades on my own very often. Every once in a while, I do. Usually, it'll be early in the morning, and I'm
Mhm.
seeing certain news, and I'll trade something that's totally out of the box for me, just because of the news. And those are the times when, inappropriately, I probably will trade in between 9:30 to 9:45, 9:50, and be done with it just based on the news. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I am following
Ooh,
the rules and uh, waiting and just going
what you
by.
said, what you just said is key. The rules,
The
Yes.
rules,
okay?
yeah.
Especially in the world of options, you have to create a set of rules and you got to stick to those rules.
You
Yes.
Like
have
when
But
to.
to
when I do
enter,
that,
when to
stop
exit.
loss is on,
Hmm.
just like with any other thing. Stop loss is on immediately. I'm never gonna, let myself go down with the ship.
Okay. Stop loss is on. I know that Robinhood has this feature, and it wouldn't surprise me that all the other brokers, especially full service brokers, have what's called um Jesus, I forget the name of it, but it's a type of stop loss.
It sucks.
Oh, huh?
Whatever. The Robinhood stop loss sucks. I'm gonna say that now.
Well,
It
no.
allows too much slip. So you have to set your trigger price and you have to set your limit. Like
What are you
Okay,
trying
you
to think of, the stop limit order?
no. Trailing stop loss. The
oh trailing
trailing
stop.
stop loss
They
My
have
bad.
that
is
on
an
Moomoo.
amazing. They have that on Moomoo? Well, let me tell you something. That's an amazing thing, and I'll
Yeah,
explain why.
yeah.
Imagine you buy a share at $100 a share. Where would you set your stop loss? You don't have to be accurate. Just give me a roundabout. Where would you set your stop loss if the share price is $100?
Let's say 90
95,
if you're waiting
90,
for
90.
10%,
Okay, 90. So the stock has been moving up. Let's say it goes up to $115 a share.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty nice return so far. Uh, but you
Moved
haven't
it.
sold it in order for it to be a realized gain, right?
Right, right.
It's still an unrealized gain. Here comes the news, Lisa. the news comes out,
Oh man.
and all of a sudden, holy smokes, what is this nonsense? The stock price plummets. It happened
Mm-hmm.
um to a few companies in Nasdaq recently with the reporting of something that what's that AI Oracle wound up taking a hit, right? So let's say it's something like that. The news comes out and now it's down to 90. your stop loss gets triggered, which means that you minimized your loss. Is that the purpose of a stop loss, to minimize your loss?
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole purpose of having your stop loss. All right. Here's the trailing stop loss, y'all. You bought the stock at 100. You set a trailing stop loss instead of a stop loss. Let's say you set it for an 8% decline. The stock goes up to $115. It drops 8% from the 115. Then you get sold out. You might have just gotten sold out for a profit, because I don't know what 8% of 115. I'm not doing that type of math. Okay. So instead of going down to 90 to get triggered, this thing gets triggered at 8% below 115, or it could be 8% below 140.
So you're in profit, right?
You're in profit.
Great feature. I am the trailing stop loss because I use Webull and just have not gotten around to getting a handle of trading on Moomoo, but I do have an account over there.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. The trailing stop loss is an amazing thing. And for everybody who's listening,
that has a trading stop loss?
Robinhood. I'm not a big fan of the stop losses. I'm not a fan of that. Not even with the options. I'm not a fan of that. Reason being is that, especially in the world of options, you're going to have fluctuations in the prices of the contracts. Like, for example, 2 months ago, I did a trade on, I forget which company it was, but I was suffering a loss. And I was about maybe 20 days out from expiration. I was suffering a loss. Had I used the stop loss, I would have been kicked out of that trade with a loss. However, I had more confidence in my price points, because I believe it was a two-legged, it was a vertical spread. So I was confident in my selection for the prices. And sure enough, had I had a stop loss, I would have been kicked out with a definite loss. But I let it run. In fact, I let it expire with a profit. Hoo-wee! Which is a big deal with options.
Okay.
I have a fairly high success rate with allowing my my options to expire, which is not recommended. I don't teach that way. I teach that you go out a certain number of days, and then you close it out when you're within a certain number of days away from your expiration date. That's how I teach. Now, I take some extra. I kind of violate my own rules. You're not supposed to do that. But yeah, I do. But I have a high success. Shame on me. Yeah. Shame on me. Yeah. That's why when I teach, I don't I don't do that. Not with my students. But yeah, I do take some unnecessary risk. But it pays off for me. For me. Other people have tried what I do, and for some reason, maybe it's the time that they choose to enter the trade, it doesn't work out for them.
That's a big,
because that's another thing. Timing.
Yep.
Prior to my divorce, I did a trade to someone who I was teaching when I was working at another trucking company, And I did the trade right in front of them just to show them what options can do. And off the news, Miss Lisa J, off the news, I did a trade. I did an options trade on the SPY. Off the news, on the SPY. And then I closed the trade out maybe 10 days prior to expiry. 10 days before. And when I showed the guy I was teaching, he freaked out. I mean, literally freaked out. I think I made, it was something close to $182,000 in like 7 days or something like that.
Sheesh.
Yeah. This was before I got divorced. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So the buying power was serious. When I decided to no longer renew my license, I was averaging about $70,000 a month trading options, just the options. Yeah. I figured, 70,000 a month is good enough to carry me.
I'll say.
And about the 9 to 5, man, listen, let me tell you this 9 to 5 story. I think you can appreciate this, Elevated. So I had to leave other jobs that I had. Matter of fact, I left all my jobs. I was just living off of what I was making in my trading. And I got a letter from the court and I had to appear. And when I did appear, part of my condition for my divorce was that I had to maintain a job. And I tried to weasel my way around it. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to go to some office where I had to fill out some paperwork declaring what my bills were and all this other stuff. And in that paperwork, they asked me where I work and I left it blank. And I had no idea that the judge in my divorce was that serious. So so the lady comes back and she says, "Listen, there's nothing here that says where you're working. Do you remember what the judge said?" So yeah, I remember. But I'm paying what I'm supposed to be paying. I never missed a payment. Yeah, that's not the point though. The point is that this is the condition. You're supposed to have a job. I said, "Oh, okay." So I went back to work in the trucking industry, and my dispatcher has known me for years because I've been working with that trucking company for years.
Yeah.
Along with my other two jobs, I was working 3 jobs at once, and so I went up to my dispatcher, and I already had a bad reputation in that trucking company because I was a pain in their side. But I went to the dispatcher and I opened up my laptop and I showed her my Thinkorswim, my Thinkorswim platform. It looked like Chinese to her. She didn't understand what the hell she was looking at. And I told her, "Listen, never mind trying to understand this whole thing. I just wanted you to look at this number right here." She said, "What's that?" That's how much I made so far this year. And if you look at it carefully and you compare that with what the truckers make for the whole year, you see that? I've already doubled it and it's already been 4 months in the year. What? So she said, So I asked her, you know what that means? I was I was a pain in the ass before. Guess what?
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be worse now.
it's on now, right?
It's on and popping. Listen, I would get we get what's called gate times, right? That's the time you're supposed to pull up to the gate with your truck so you can head out and do your deliveries. So I would have a gate time of like 2:00 in the morning, and I would show up at 6:00 in the morning, and they would be flipping on me. What the hell? Oh yeah, who the hell do you think you are? This, that, and the third. And I would just sit there with my head down, acting like this is really hurting my feelings. I would get called off to the manager. It got to the point where the manager was just sick of seeing me. He would just have me sit in his office while he did whatever he had to do over the phone, did his paperwork, whatever, and then tell me, all right, leave, but you already know, put your head down, act like I got on your case. Okay, so why would he do that with me and not just get rid of me? Well, because I was one of the drivers with the most experience in the company. There were drivers that were being sent to locations where they had to get towed out of these places, or they would just absolutely destroy the trailers because we were delivering in New York City, in Boston, in Philly, in Baltimore. You already know. And they were shredding these trailers, man. They were, we had to deliver to grocery stores underneath the train tracks and all this other crazy stuff. So, and not only that, I knew my way around New York City like the back of my hand because I was a New York City cab driver for 10 years. So, now, if there was a new store chain, they could send me out without the specific directions because I knew my way around. And as a result, they could send me to these stores all day, every day. I come back, equipment is 100%, delivery is made. And so I was somewhat of an asset to these people. So that's probably why they didn't get rid of me. But yeah, I got it to the point where there was this one dispatcher where I've never seen him mad to the point where he got out the office and stood up in front of a driver like he was going to do something. He did that to me. I'm looking at this dude like, yo, I mean, first of all, you look at this guy, you already know. Not a good move for him. He's just not, he's not built for that, Yeah. And so, but I took him there. He came out the office, he squared off on me and everything. He was mother effing me.
Wow.
I drove him crazy. But that's what being able to trade at that level or having the type of portfolio at a level where you don't have to worry about getting fired.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. My homeboy, one of my students, he one of his portfolios in 11 months generated something like $48,000 in just dividends alone. Dividends alone, just dividends. And he does options with his other platforms. 48 G's and all that changed within a 5-year period. All that changed within a 5-year period. He went from zero to options trading and having a portfolio that was generating $48,000 in dividends in 11 months.
Wow.
How many people do you know make that kind of money at work in a year?
Not many.
So that's a major transformation. That's a
yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop
For him?
off, guys, but it was nice chatting with you.
Lisa, don't leave.
See how Lisa do.
Thank you, Mr. Burns, for allowing me on the panel today.
Well, Thank you for overperforming.
Nothing less. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. So that's life changing, no? Wouldn't you call that life changing for him?
Yeah, yeah. As passive income like that, oh yeah, 48,000.
And
Like
not only that, just from dividends.
just from dividends.
And not only that, this is something that happened within a 5-year time span, and he knew nothing about the stock market. He knew nothing about it.
Crazy.
Life changing. So you know what? If you guys follow Elevated and you don't want to listen to him, you're missing out.
Hey.
You're missing out on some life-changing stuff.
And I mean, I get it. I don't, but I we share the knowledge like we said in the beginning. All we could do is put the knowledge out there. I'll be on live trading. I might get 2 people that'll sit there. Maybe one of those 2 people will ask questions. Okay, whatever. So be it.
Hey, Brandon.
I don't even get mad anymore.
No, there's nothing to be gained by getting mad. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. But with this skill that you learn and Elevator, seriously, you can reach out to me whenever you want. Whenever you want to experiment on the sell side.
Yeah.
I got your back, bro.
Most definitely.
I got your back. And you'll be surprised. The break even on a sell is closer to the at the money price than it is when you buy.
I believe that. I believe it.
It's actually it's actually usually lower than the at the money price. So you got more room to breathe.
Okay.
However, here's the difference. What did Brandon say? I've been here. I'm listening. I'm in the background. It's very interesting when you're what is that talking about? Oh, okay, talking about options. Yeah, options is although options. Let me tell you something. When I first started teaching options, I used to ask people a lot of questions. I wanted to determine whether or not they had an addictive personality. I refused to teach people who had an addictive personality because once you engage in options, you can get very addicted.
Yeah. Yep.
So going back to what I was saying with the selling part of the options, Theta's your friend.
When you sell, yep.
Theta's your friend. Theta's your friend to the point where, and that was the one loss my son had because the stock wasn't doing great. But the reason his loss was minimized was because of Theta. It was a battle between Theta and Vega. It was a battle between Theta and Vega. Vega won out. But by the way, I'm talking about options Greeks.
The Greeks, yeah.
Which is something that will help you when you learn to trade options. So in the sell world, this is the difference between the buy and the sell world. When you buy in the options world, you're capping your loss. You might buy a specific strategy in the options world might cost you $20, $50 to get in that trade, 100, whatever it is. It's $100, let's say, to get into that trade. If the trade goes against you, the most you will lose is that $100 that you put down. When you sell, $100 might be the max you will make. When you buy, $100 is the max you will lose, but the amount that you can make is unlimited. So you might be able to make 500, 1,000, 2,000 on that one trade.
Yeah.
Although that would depend on the break even.
Yep.
However, with the sale, when you sell, you might receive, because you're selling, you're going to receive a credit of $100. However, that loss could be thousands. That's the flip. That's the flip side, right? And people are scared. That's scary, man. You're getting a credit of $100. That's the most you can make off a trade that you can potentially lose thousands of dollars. What? However, the probabilities of you losing are much lower than when you buy. That's weird. So you got to approach that differently. It's a strange place to be. But when you're a weirdo like me, it's like you fit right in. But yeah. However, like I said, there are rules that you make up or that you're taught. You stick to those rules, you'll be good every year. Right?
Yep.
What do you think of that, Elevated?
It's all about discipline.
Discipline. Yeah.
You have to actually want it. Now, obviously, we're talking about the market and things like that, but everybody has something that they yearn for in their life, whatever that may be. Now, whether they actually achieve or obtain whatever it is that they really want, that depends on the discipline and their willingness to put in the effort.
Discipline is huge, man. Huge.
It is.
Hey, Elevator, I'm gonna have to close out.
Yeah.
Because I'm supposed to be driving to a destination, and yeah, I'm misbehaving right now.
That's fine, because I gotta get ready for work anyway. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate Lisa for joining us on the panel. I appreciate Richard's Wi-Fi. Oh man, I threw some heck shots. But yeah, once he reconnects, I'll go ahead and I'll drop down. Or maybe not. Everybody take care.
Well, that was in my exit. I think oh my God, my microphone was all the way back there. Terrible. Anyway, yeah, that wasn't my exit. I'm sorry about that. I hope the volume was high. I just realized that. Took my seatbelt off and the mic went right with it. All right. Thanks, everybody. And don't forget, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. That counts. So, I hope everybody had a good time. I hope the love that we spread today was useful love. So listen, guys, stay fresh, keep it profitable. and I'll catch you later on.